The first thing you should do is 3 minus 1, and you come up with 2. So replace the 3 minus 1 with 2, and everything else stays the same. The next thing you have to do is 2 squared. What's 2 squared? 4. So replace that 2 squared with 4, and everything else stays the same. What do I do next? 4 times 4. Multiplication comes before addition, so that's 16. Everything else stays the same. And if you add these all together, left to right, you should get 23. Did you do 4 minus 3 first? And you got 1? Did you do 1 squared next after that? What did you do? Oh, okay. Well, it should have been 4 minus 3 is 1. If you square 1, it's still 1. It's just 1 times 1. And then 3 times the 1 is 3. And you do everything in order. 5 plus 3 is 8. Minus 6 is 2. You have to do multiplication and division in order from left to right before you do any addition or subtraction. So you have to do this first to get 24, and then this second to get 3. Add them together. Answer should be 27. On this one, you should do 20 divided by 4 first to come up with 5, and then 27 divided by 9 to get 3. Add those together, answer should be 8. You should have 18 divided by 2 first, which is 9. And then you have to do this next, because that's multiplication and division. In order, left to right. That's 12 divided by 6, which is 2. So you should get 11. Now, one of the things you could do on this to get a different answer could be maybe you did this. Now, that's possible. 18 divided by 6 is 3. And then times 9 is 27, but that'd give you a decimal. For those of you that had 21, do you see what your mistake was? Oh, okay. Well, that would make it 21. Okay. Pick a number from 1 to 5 and put your last name on it and drop it off up here on the table. Lottery number was 5. Objective for today is to add or subtract fractions. Here's example 1. I have 5 over 8 plus 1 over 3. In order to add these two fractions together, I've got to have a denominator, which is this and this, that are the same. What would be the common denominator for this? 24 is right. And I'll show you how you come up with that if you don't know. You find the least common multiple of 3 and 8 by listing their multiples. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and then 8 is 8, 16, 24, and there it is. That's the lowest number they both have in common. So that's why we chose this and this. Now, to change your top numbers, you have to figure out what you would multiply 8 by to get 24. What is that? 3. Yeah, so if I multiply 8 by 3, I have to multiply 5 by 3 to get what? 15. Now what would I multiply 3 by to get 24? 8. And what would I multiply 1 by? 8. And I would get what? 8. So to get your answer, you keep the denominator the same, but you add 15 and 8 to get 23. On the practice problem, the least common multiple between 5 and 2 is 10. And if you don't know how to get that, you list 2 and 5 and all of their multiples, or as many as you can to start with. And for 2, we can go to 10, and for 5, once you reach 10, you have it. So that's how we come up with the least common denominator. Now, I would have to multiply 5 by 2 to get 10. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5. 9 over 10 should be the answer. On the bonus problem, you have to start inside of brackets first. And once you're inside the brackets, you start over again, and then you go to the parentheses. So think of this as just one problem by itself. And do 4 minus 1 to get 3. So you would have 3 squared multiplied against 3 and then 2. So 3 squared is 9, and then when you multiply it by the 3, you get 27. So you come up with 29 just for the brackets. But notice you have that 4 there by the brackets. That means multiply. And when you multiply that 4 by the 29, you get 116, and then add the 3. 119 should be the answer. Okay, did you start with 3 minus 1? And you came up with 2. Now, 2 squared would be what? 4. And did you multiply that 4 by 2? What'd you do? You added the 4 and 2?
I added the 1 and 2 to the 4.
Oh, okay. Alright. So you had the 4 from here. So anytime you see a number up against those parentheses, that means multiplying. So you would get an 8, and then plus 1 is 9, times 3 is 27, plus 2 is 29. On the practice problem, the lowest number that 5 and 6 will go into is 30. Now I have to multiply 5 by 6 to get 30, so 4 times 6 is 24. I'm multiplying 6 by 5 to get 30, so 1 times 5 is 5. Now the operation says minus, so you have to do 24 minus 5, and that'll be 19 over 30. Alright, 3 minus 1. Did you do 3 minus 1? And you came up with 2. Did you square the 2 to get 4? Did you multiply the 4 by 1? And you got 4. Did you add that 4 to the 2? Uh-oh. Alright, so if you add that 4 to the 2, you would get 6. And then you have to multiply that 6 by the 4 to get 24. And your answer should be 29. You do it. 3 minus 1 is 2. So you're still going to have 2 squared to do, and that would be 4. And then multiply it by the other 4 to get 16, and then add the 3. You should have 19. What is the least common multiple between 9 and 3? 27? Is it the least? Here's 3 and 9. Close. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. But what happens when I write this down? If I start with 9, I have 9. That's the lowest. But you can still get the right answer even if you don't use the lowest number, and I'll show you how. Alright, so if I use the least common denominator of 9, then this fraction does not have to change because it already had a 9 to start with. But this one, I have to multiply by 3 to get a 9, so multiply by 3 there to get a 6. So you should have 10 over 9. But I'll do it with what most of you used. Here's the same problem, 4 over 9 plus 2 over 3, and a lot of you use 27. Okay, so we'll use 27. I multiply 9 by 3 to get 27, so 4 by 3 is 12. 3 times 9 is 27, so 2 times 9 is 18. So I would get 30 over 27. But 30 over 27 can't be your final answer because it's not reduced. Is there a number that goes into both 30 and 27? What can I divide both of those numbers by? Will 9 go into both of them? No. What about 6? 2? Will 2 go into both of them? Will 3 go into both of them? Yes, 3 will go into both of them. What's 30 divided by 3? 10. And what's 27 divided by 3? 9. That's the same answer that we had on the other screen. So if you do use a denominator that's not the lowest one, you can still get the right answer, but you're going to have to reduce your answer when you get to the end. What should I do first on this problem? Five times 6, yeah. So we'll do 5 times 6 and get 30. We'll keep everything else the same. What do I do next on this problem? You could do 4 times 8. He's right. Technically, you should go left to right with multiplication and division, but doing this next is not going to change the value So you could do that and get 32. What should I do next on this problem? 30 divided by 15 is what? 2. What should I do next? Yeah, 32 divided by 2 is 16. So now you just add them together to get 18 for the answer. What is the lowest number that 5 and 10 will both go into? 10 is right. So I have to multiply 5 by 2 to get 10. So 2 times 2 is 4. This denominator did not change, so neither does the numerator. 7 over 10. Here's how you get this answer. You have to do 5 times 5 and 5 times 5 first. There's two 25s that you add together with the 5, so that should give you 55. Okay, for this one, what's the lowest number that 3 and 4 go into? 12 is right. So I'm multiplying 4 by 3 to get 12. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12, so 2 times 4 is 8. So it should be 23 over 12. Try this one and bring it up. What is the lowest number that 10 and 4 will go into? 20 is right. So I'll put a 20 there and there. Now a couple of you have 40s, or at least one of you, so I'll show you what happens when you do it with a 40 as well. So I'm going to recopy the same problem over to the right and do this at the same time a different way. We'll just use a split screen. If you chose 20 as the denominator, 10 times 2 is 20, so I have to multiply 7 by 2 to get 14. 4 times 5 is 20, so 1 times 5 is 5. The answer should be 19 over 20. But if you chose 40 for the denominator, 10 times 4 to get 40, so 7 times 4 is 28. 4 times 10 is 40, and 1 times 10 is 10. So that would give you 38 over 40. But you can reduce it. What number goes into both 38 and 40? 2 goes into both of them. So what do I get when I divide 38 by 2?
14.
Not 14. 19, yes. And what is 40 divided by 2? 20. So there's the answer there. You have to substitute in the numbers for the letters. So in this problem, A is equal to 2. So you put down 2. And B is equal to 4. So you put a 4 in there. 4 squared is 16. Plus 2 is 18. The answer to this one is 25. What is the lowest number that 2 and 3 will go into? 6. So if I put 6 here and here, I then have to find out what I'm multiplying 2 by. So it'd be 3. That would give me a 3 there. And by 2 here gives me a 4. 7 over 6. You have multiplication, division, and multiplication. You have to do those in order from left to right. You got to do these in order from left to right, so you have 25, and then times 2 is 50. And then you still have to divide by 10 and multiply by 4. So 50 divided by 10 is 5, times 4 is 20. What is the least common denominator? 4, yes. So we'll put 4 down. Do we have to change this fraction? No, because the denominator did not change. So just put a 1. What am I multiplying 2 by to get 4? 2. So what do I multiply this 3 by? 2. And I get a 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. What do we do first on this problem? Well, yeah, 4 plus 6 is 10, and then take away 2 to get what? 8 plus 5. 13 minus 1 plus 6, 18. Yes.